Looked like you were going
Hello. Well, I guess regarding the triage, I think the thing that amazed me was when everybody started coming in, the injuries were so bad. And I just remember praying and saying, Lord, be glorified here. Be glorified here, And I know that's like a really weird prayer maybe during that time, but it's kind of just trying to ask the Lord to reveal himself and to show himself. And what was amazing, I thought, was that no one died. Horrible. They were just horrible. The injuries were horrible. You could see bones sticking out and people's faces open and just like everything, amputations, just the most horrible things you can imagine. But in that moment, in those days, we saw miracles. We saw miracles happen. I mean, I was with her actually when it happened, and just like with two boys in particular, one of them had just this huge gash on his head, and the nurses couldn't put a catheter in him because his veins were just so tiny, and we just had those real big needles, and they're just saying unless he has one of those IVs in him, he's going to die. And so we just started praying and praying because they just couldn't get it in. And it was so dark, we were using flashlights, like shining it on his, his arm, trying to get the needle in. And we laid hands on him, and we just prayed for him. And that boy woke up. And and all the nurses said, he should be dying, but he's not. And he was up, and he was literally making a fuss, like, don't touch me, and like all this kind of stuff, and we had to restrain him. And it happened just 2.5 days later with another boy. And what happened with the other boy was he had a head injury, but it wasn't like gaping, so the blood was filling up in his head, and that was causing him to go into a coma. And they were saying that he needed to be on some sort of monitor, or I don't even know, but they said that the pressure was forcing him into a coma, and literally the nurse was slapping him and pinching him, and there was absolutely nothing in terms of response. And so we laid hands and we prayed, and that boy woke up. And he was like, it took like 5 people to restrain him, and he was
so cool.
And he was fine. He ended up going home with his mom. And it was just amazing that all of that blood, all of that gore, no one died. No one died.
In that immediate area that you guys were in, nobody died?
No one died.
Wow.
And it was just amazing. And people would come. It's just like how people will go to the Lord because during times of crisis. In that whole area, we were the only ones with electricity. That's the Lord. That's totally the Lord. And so I just think of Maison de Lumière. In French, that means the house of light. And how Jesus says that I am the light of the world. And if you lift him up, he'll draw all men to himself. I was thinking about that, how people would come, and most of them were injured, but some of them just came to be near the light. And every single time when you'd pray, they'd want to pray with you. And some of the people, when you were praying with them, they would say, voodoo's no good, after they told us that they were Christian. So I'm like, okay, yeah, no, the voodoo part's no good, don't do that part. So, I think it really kind of it really cut it clear, like there is only one God. And when his hand moves, his hand moves, and he has the power to do anything. He has the power to heal. He has the power to do just amazing things. And everything else is just false. It's just false. So that was something that was very clear that happened.
That's awesome.
Praise God.
Mike,
for
to
that.
clarify that, there were people that died in the community,
Okay.
in the suburb we were in, but no one that came through the
That
clinic.
came for the clinic.
No one
Okay,
that came
yeah.
through the clinic.
Thanks.
And there were no way to know for sure, but it was 400 to 500 people that came through the clinic.
Wow. Could you share with us something very significant that that, like Patty's story, that God did this, God showed me this, God was here, that may not be related through a newspaper article or through the television media, that God definitely did this, I saw him do this. Could you share something?
I'll take this one first. The way I answered this question, it had to do with something I was trying to describe in the first email I sent to my husband on that second night, I think it was. But you find yourself in a situation where you would never want to be. for myself personally, I have always been like kind of hypersensitive to situations of suffering, especially if it involves children. And I'm one of those people who will turn off news reports. I won't see certain movies. I've never seen Schindler's List to this day. I still don't think I will. And it's because I have this tendency to identify so strongly with the suffering that's going on that it will make me kind of cave in. I'll just become a mass of tears and just want to hide from the horror. And I'm also very squeamish on top of that, the sight of blood and all that. I just don't deal well with those things. So to find yourself smack dab in the middle of your worst nightmare, and then to find out that all those natural human reactions somehow are just pushed to the side, overstepped, and you find yourself going directly to the pain, to the suffering, and knowing that I really had nothing to offer in many of the situations that I happened to encounter, you grab their face, you look in their eyes, you say, I love you, I'm here with you, I'll pray for you, I'm praying for you. You hear them speak the way they say the name of Jesus, JC. And what I experienced was this overwhelming flow of love and compassion I've never felt before in any situation for any human being I've ever been in. I knew very, very clearly that it was the love of Christ manifesting. I knew it was him flowing through me. I knew I was there to be just his heart of compassion and love when I had nothing else to offer them. It felt like Peter and John outside the temple, silver and gold have I none, but I'll give you what I got, and that's the love of Christ. And I felt that very, very, very clearly.
Anyone else? Just anything significant that God said, this is what I did.
Well, I think what all of us were blown away by this actually was God consistently answering every specific prayer. And we knew that you guys were praying, and it meant so much, with just knowing that we're one body, that we love together, that we have one faith, one spirit, one God. And so as we would email every single, we don't have enough food, water, just very, very specific things, not enough medical supplies, not enough doctors. And there was a point in time where the triage was running out of medical supplies. And Robert said, okay, we gotta close it up. And so they literally closed it. And within 20 minutes, a team of doctors came with medical supplies. We opened it right back up.
Wow.
And it was just every specific thing was answered. And that's God responding to, the faith of his people, and God responding to the cries of his people. And it was so wonderful to know that God sees us all, God hears every prayer. And he's so faithful. He's so faithful in providing everything that we need.
Awesome. Awesome. That's awesome. Anyone else? Russell, you want to?
I just wanted to comment about Sunday before the quake. We went to church there in Port-au-Prince, and how awesome their little church is over there. A lot of their ministry is singing, and the kids and the people that have come to know the Lord there is every bit as strong as all of us here put together. They have missions going out, and I'm thinking when I walked in there, I'm looking at it, and I was thinking now, how on earth, here we are in Haiti, can they be doing missions to other places? But they are, and it's all about spreading the word. And those kids there's such a contrast between the good and the evil there in the whole island there in Port-au-Prince and in Haiti. But you can just feel the evil when you get there. And you feel so protected, and you are protected. The good Lord was with us, all of us, so much. It was just surreal, the whole thing. Just like you're on autopilot, that kind of thing.